10 favorite magic trick. It just doesn't know it yet. It's about to be a top 10. I just got to eliminate about 3 tricks because I have about 12 favorite card tricks right now. But this one definitely deserves to be in there because it has 2 different methods. And I kept forgetting the methods until I gave them a subtitle. And the subtitle to this interactive flip is the table of contents. That's one. And part B is called bookends. And you will soon see the reason. Now here we're going to keep it simple, sweetheart, with 7 and 8 as our cards. But if we had a real volunteer that was really trying to fool us, they could pick any card that they want, any one whatsoever. And they wouldn't have to have anything in common. It could be a 2 and a jack. It doesn't matter. But in this case, I'm going to pick up the 8 cards here, and I'm going to ask that the volunteer put their cards facing the opposite way anywhere. They could be in the middle, and they could be at the end. Now, without even looking, I would go down, flip, down, flip, down, flip, down, flip, down, and flip. That's round 1. Now, round 2, easy. You just take 2 cards at a time. Down, flip, down, flip, and down. Round 3, we're interested in the colors. If it's black, we know people see black and they like to flip out. So here we see black, so they flipping out. They flip it over. This one, we don't know if it's red or black. What is it? It's red, so it goes down as is. Flip it over. As is. Flip it over. As is. As is. As is. As is. And as is. Now we're going to set up the cards. This is the 4th round. This is done differently than the other method that you're about to see after this. This is where the difference comes in. This is why this is called the table of contents, because if you notice, I'm setting up all these cards on the table. I don't have to do that with the bookends method, which I'll soon do. Now we always start from the lower right-hand corner, our lower right-hand corner. We flip it. It's black. So in order for us to flip the next one, it needs to be the opposite color. In order to flip it, this has to be red. Is it? It is, so we can flip it. In order to flip this one, it has to be the opposite of this. It has to be black. Is it? It is, so we can flip it. Same thing with this. This has to be the opposite of this black one. It has to be red in order to flip it. Is it? It is, so we can flip it. In order to flip this one, it has to be the opposite. It is, so we flip it. In order to flip the next one, it needs to be red. Is it? It is, so we flip it. In order to flip this next one, it needs to be black. It's not, so it stays the same. In order for the next one to stay the same, it needs to be the opposite of this. It needs to be black. Is it? It's not, so we flip it. In order to flip this next one, it needs to be black. Is it? It's not, so it stays the same. In order for this one to stay the same, it needs to be black. Is it? It isn't, so we flip it. We only have 2 cards that are going in one direction. We have this card here, which will flip. It's an 8. And we have this card here, and it's a 7. It's easy when you know the trick. So that was our first tutorial. Now we're going to move straight ahead into the second tutorial, and you'll see a lot of similarities. Again, we start off with the cards in the face down position. We ask a volunteer to slide theirs face up anywhere in the deck or outside the deck. At the bottom or at the top, it doesn't matter. We can even cut it a couple times. Now we're going to go down, flip, down, flip, down, flip, down, flip, down, and flip. That's round 1. Round 2, just like before. 2, down, flip, down, flip, down. Now, round 3 I like to call the Earl Campbell round, number 34, because it's round 3, but we're taking down 4 at a time. And because we only have 10 cards, the last 2, you know, they're not going to be 4. They're going to be a group of their own 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, flip, and because this only has 2, down. If it had 2 more, or if we start off with 12, we put 4 down. But since we start off with 10, we only put the last 2 down. So that was the last round of that one. Now this is why it's called bookends. Remember the other one was called table of contents. This is called bookends because we're going to deal 2 piles. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1,